Hey guys, welcome back. This is Anne. Today I want to share with you some tips regarding how to handle the financial turbulence, especially in light of the coronavirus and its disturbance to our lifestyle and day-to-day function, right? I know there are a lot of anxiety and fear, so from a healthcare provider, I just want to share some tips on how to manage it and keep yourself and the others safe. So first of all, if you feel you're sick, even from any coughing or respiratory symptoms, I would highly recommend you stay home. If you're needing to go to a doctor, if your doctor provide a virtual visits, please do that first before going to in person, just because there's potential contagious with droplets. That's number one. Number two, stay home, quarantine yourself for 14 days and prevent contacts with others, just again from an infectious control standpoint. The less contact you have, the less spread there is. Third, make sure you guys wash hands regularly and frequently for at least 20 seconds. There's actually a really cool songs you can share with your young ones, kids, nephew, nieces, about hand washing. Is a Vietnamese song that went global, and it's just make it very fun and catchy. Fourth, I would really try to have, this is where you also want to start looking into your emergency fund and what that emergency fund looks like, and is there something that you can start allocating and withdrawing and using that, especially if you're currently staying at home and not being able to find a job or replacing your income. One thing I would recommend is that really maximize so here I'm going to go into some financial things that you can do while you are navigating this time. So of course, emergency fund, and this is, I would call emergency fund. No one really foresee this coming, where a lot of things shut down and that affects you and your job personally. So really be able to tap into your emergency fund and see what that looks like, right? So for those that don't have emergency fund or know what it is, it's basically being able to look at your monthly expenses and have 3 to 6 months of expenses for just financial time or emergency situation that arise, something similar to this one. Two, you want to maximize the benefits that your employer provides. So if they're providing short-term disability, or if they're providing PTO vacations while you're in a quarantine, just really talk to your employers. What are some services they would provide for you while you're not being able to work? So those are all conversations that you want to ask as many questions to your HR as possible. And then you also want to conserve in terms of what I try to say when conserving is like cutting off services that you don't need. So take a look at your bills, take a look at your credit cards. What are some services right now that you may not need that you can take off? So for example, gym membership, most gyms are closed, so you may not need that. You may have 3 or 4 subscriptions like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. I mean, if you have more than for entertainment purposes, maybe this is a time to consider cut down those costs. It may not be much, but it's something that you can, look and see what fits in your lifestyle. Maybe just choose one, especially now you're home, you have to entertain your kids who are not in school, instead of have 3 to 4 services. And then also see if this is a possibility, you can negotiate with your landlords. I know paying rent might be difficult, especially if you're not working right now. So see if they have more lenient policy on late term or potentially delay your rent to the next month. So this is all things you want to take proactively in talking to your landlord from that standpoint. And then also leveraging your skills, right? So what skills do you have right now that you can go virtually online? So there are several sources online where you go, Fiverr is one, Upwork is one. Are you able to tutor someone online? Are you able to create websites for others or help others to market? there are a lot of kids right now in school that are not in school, so parents are trying to find ways to help them engage or being able to help with homework online or entertain them for a few hours. So those are all very good options that you definitely want to take a look, and I'll put the links for them if you down below in the comment sections. So really leverage your skills and see what are you able to offer virtually. And then lastly, look around things in your house that you can offer to sell. I know now probably most people are not able to sell anything because no one's going to go and pick up items, right? But you can also look into if you can drop it off at like a locations where, like Plato's Closet, for example, and see if that's something they're able to offer cash for you. Just something to think about, especially nowadays where many folks are restricted or trying to quarantine or just stay at home, right? And lastly, I think that one questions I get is like, what should I do with my retirement account? Should I sell? Should I buy? Of course, you really want to take care of your day-to-day functions first, especially if you're not currently working and that your monthly expenses will be at risk. So one thing I would recommend from a retirement standpoint, it really depends, and I'm not a financial advisor, so really seek out a financial advisor. But what I would say is it depends on your age, right? If you, the rule of thumb is if take 100 minus your age equal the percent of that you should invest in stocks. So let's say you're 50, or 30 for that. 100 minus 30 equals 70. So 70% of your stocks or 70% of your investment should be in stocks. So this is also a good time. I did this this week to rebalance your stocks and bond investment, right? So if you have, for example, for me, I'm just saying I'm 32, so 70 minus 32, and so I'm looking at about rebalancing my stocks, and that basically, supposedly 68 is my stock profile, but you also want to assess your risk tolerance and how long and when are you going to retire. So my quote guide is around 68. I'm actually comfortable at 80%. So I do 80% in stocks and 20% in my bond. And for this past, because of the time that it has gone, my bond actually shifted like 25% and my stocks were like 75. So I kind of readjust that, and and the reason why is just because you need to look at your retirement goals and when are you planning to retire and what is your risk tolerance. Maybe you're comfortable at 70-30, maybe you're comfortable at 60-40, but you don't want to be too conservative, especially you're young and you have time for the market to bounce back, right? So that's something you want to take a look at. And this is if you work at a large organization that offers like big financial services and that will have a financial advisor with that financial plan offer for free, then I would really try to maximize and have a setup like a virtual meeting, phone to phone with them, and go over your plan and make sure that you're on target. I know that's one thing most are very fearful because of the market goes down, but actually it's a very good time to buy if you have those reserve income to buy, because now everything, I think it's like Black Friday, right? All the stocks are on very, I wouldn't say low price, but some are discounted price compared to their previous. So for example, I believe as of yesterday, Apple was like $244 and they were much higher than that a month or 2 months before. So pretty much most stocks are lower than they were 2-3 months before. So it's a good time to buy if you have the reserve income. I would not recommend to use your emergency fund to buy stocks at this point, just because emergency funds are for emergency situations, and you don't want to use that to buy stocks while you may not know what's going to happen in next month or 2 months from now in terms of your expenses and rent. So I hope this has been very helpful, and for those that are watching have other thoughts and ideas, please put them down below in the comment. And feel free to continue sending your questions down. I will answer them as they come. See you next time. Take care.